When I asked my mother, why are we here? Why are we in this prison? She said simply, it's because we're Japanese.
My father was an immigrant from Hiroshima in Japan. My mother was born here.
My father believed, like a lot of other immigrants, that you could make money in the United States.
My dad always used to say, nothing like America.
In 1882, the Emperor of Japan allowed the people of Japan to leave the home islands. And thus the Japanese came to this country for economic opportunity.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
After the first few years, the Japanese immigrants were trying to get into other professions. And people were beginning to get worried about what they called a Japanese invasion.
My father could not buy land because he was not a citizen, but he also couldn't become a citizen.
My mother used to tell me that salesmen used to come to the door and she'd refuse to buy, and they say, why don't you go home, you damn Jap?
On December 7th, around 8 o'clock in the morning, Japanese airplanes bombed Pearl Harbor in Hawaii.
Since the unprovoked and dastardly attack, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
It was just a devastating day for all of us. We will never forget.
I went to volunteer, and they turned me down because they just didn't want any Japs.
General DeWitt was commanding general of the Western Area Defense Command. He's the one that said, a Jap's a Jap. And because I looked like the enemy, I was treated like the enemy.
We were cursed at and spit on. We were told to go back to the country where we came from. And I said, well, this is where I came from.
The FBI came and picked up my father immediately. It's just like the movies.
Right in the middle of the wedding reception, FBI came and arrested some of the people.
We had to turn in all our radios, shortwave, flashlights, guns, knives, whatever that they thought was contraband. President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have directed that all measures be taken for our defense.
The order stated that the West Coast was to be considered a military area and persons of Japanese ancestry were to be removed and housed away from the West Coast.
There were 10 war relocation centers to which persons of Japanese ancestry were sent.
By the time the war was over, there were about 120,000 people affected.
The military and civilian agencies alike determined to do the job as a democracy should, with real consideration for the people involved.
Friends of mine had to leave Terminal Island, and those people had only 48 hours.
We just felt it was something we had to do. I guess we considered our part for the war effort.
The restaurant, we just had to close up. We just padlocked it and got out.
People just come and say, well, I'll give you $1 for that, I'll give you $5.
Like $5 for a brand new refrigerator. We burned a lot of things.
My mom got mad and she just picked up these great big plates. She just smashed it right on the floor. With every smash, it just broke her heart.
We could only take what we could carry.
I can remember things we didn't take, like our dog Ginger. We were not allowed to take pets.
walked with our suitcases to this train depot, and there were guards with rifles.
They had 2 MPs on each side, and they had bayonets on them. Why they had bayonets, I'll never know.
The morning we left, it was sprinkling. My sister had overheard this lady say, "Look at, even the heavens are crying for us."
The great trek begins. A jet caravan heads for the government's war relocation project in the Orange Valley. A voluntary migration. It's in no sense a concentration camp, but a city with its front yard in the snow-peaked Sierra Nevadas. Here, eventually, 12,000 will live and work.
We were told that we are being evacuated so that the government can protect us. And the first thing that I had observed was that they had armament, not facing out, but facing in.
And I remember seeing the guard tower and the barbed wire fence, and this blew my mind to think that we were going to be behind those wires.
My mother and father lived at the time in the Orange Valley, and they saw the people getting off the buses. My mother said, "I was so upset by that. These people don't belong there. They're American citizens."
They are not prisoners. They are not internees. They are merely dislocated people, the unwounded casualties of war.
I remember just seeing the rows of barracks, dirt all over, no plants or greenery.
Yes, do that next time. After this 10. After this 10.
The first thing that they told us to do was to grab a bag and put straws in the bag.
And that was our bed for that night.
But the first night, all of a sudden I realized that, my God, there are holes in the roof. I look up and I see the sky. I thought, my God, it's so beautiful.
And that night there was a pretty big windstorm. The next morning when I got up, I looked at my mattress, and right where my head was, it's still all white, but then the rest of it was all covered with sand.
It was hot in the summer, bone chilling in the winter, and there was always the wind. There was always the wind.